At this time, we're going under discussion and possible action on the following matters. Mr. Arjona?
Yes, Mayor, Commissioners, staff, on this item, we have the presentation and discussion of the City of San Juan annual budget for fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2018 to September 30th, 2019. Mayor, Commissioners, I want to say that it was a little bit of a challenge this year to balance our fiscal year budget because there is an account that we have which is called the stormwater drainage account. That account was initially set aside, but it was supposed to be on its own, like an enterprise account. But for whatever reason, it was never set up that way. So this time, we saw that, so we needed to bring it, separated. So the general fund is on one side and the enterprise on a different account. So just in that alone, we're looking at about $280,000 worth of revenues that we're not accounting for in the general fund, and that's why we had a little bit of difficulties trying to balance it. However, we did the best that we could with the staff, finance, pretty much everybody here. I want to thank everybody for doing this. And the budget that we're presenting before you it's a balanced budget. We did some cuts across the board, not only one department or two departments, it was pretty much across the board.
What was the total cut you did, Mr. Arjona? You know more or less?
The cut?
Yeah.
Million.
Huh?
Several departments, and we cut mainly on travel and training.
Travel, training, supplies, capital outlay, maybe like on some of the big trucks. Now, it doesn't mean that we're not going to be looking into additional equipment, but what we talked about with sanitation and utility, Mr. Davis Salido, was that, yeah, we're going to be taking it away from this budget year or the fiscal year, but what we want to do is looking into maybe leasing possibilities so that the first payment is not necessarily this coming fiscal year, it'll be the next fiscal
year.
year. So that's going to be an alternative that we're going to be looking into, whether we buy them now outright versus leasing the equipment. There's just a possibility. Now, what I wanted to do here with this budget was go over the revenues and expenditures to más o menos show that even though we did that enterprise fund account to aside, we can actually see that there was an actual increase in revenues for the departments under the general fund and pretty much the other ones as well. So you turn to the first page, which says before that one, the very first one, the one that is not numbered. On that one, if you look at the very far right, where it says total revenue, we're looking at $11,537,967 versus last year, the budget that was proposed was at $11,580,527. It's a little bit less this year than last year. However, let's keep in mind that we have that stormwater drainage fund that is at $280,000, so that'll take us over. So the revenues were in excess this year versus last year. Okay. Hello. Under total expenditures, if we look at the very bottom, if you see the total revenue, that'll be our total expenditures as well. We were able to balance it out to the penny, $11,537,967. About maybe a couple of $1 million from last year to this year, and this is because of the
It was a public safety building that we still had
under construction. What else?
streets.
Yeah. It was the street improvements and the public safety building that was still under construction. That's why we have less expenditure this year than last year. Okay. Questions or any department that you would like to talk about before we go to the other funds?
Department, that was coming from the general fund, or was it through asset forfeiture funds?
This year that is here is through the general fund,
General fund.
right? We do
So-
have the SS forfeiture as well.
So you
But it
were
was
kind
a-
of like a cash match or something like that?
No, it was just an additional funding for the, yeah, I was gonna say, it was an
Talking about-
additional out of the general fund
Okay, so it was
to help
combined.
Right.
with the forfeiture funds, right?
Got it.
On the expenditures, I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question,
Right.
yes. We had, we also, besides the $1 million that was coming from the asset forfeiture fund, the city, the general fund also contributed $1 million.
That was the deficit that we had, right?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to touch base on that.
And the other one is on the streets. We also had a million plus change that they went into streets, and that's why we have those $2 million difference.
Okay, for the fire, you had a proposal by the department had requested 5 million. And the proposal was at 2 million,
454,000.
4,000, and the final will be 16. You had a lot of cuttage there.
Yes, sir.
What are we not getting?
What are we not getting?
One was the building, fire.
The
building from which one?
They proposed they requested a new building. A
This
new,
is the one for the new fire department?
yes,
or-
sir.
So we're not getting that one then?
Well,
Well, I thought we were supposed to, it was supposed to be in the budget for this coming year. And, yes. When was that building supposed to be proposed for that?
it was not established that it
Is
was.
that the one that's supposed to be on the, and it, was that part of the, on back of you, or? Yeah, that. Oh, it was only a proposal, there was never intensive.
So, yeah, so what it was the.
So then, right, like, taking the building out, we still go at 2,454,000, and we're still taking more money out from almost, okay, so you're taking that out, and we're still taking more out besides the building, so he's still, we're talking about what, 600,000, almost. The difference between 24 and 16 is about 800,000. We're still cutting down on that one. Do we know why we're cutting down on this, or did you?
It's not in particular that we're cutting down only on fire department equipment and stuff like that. It was in order to balance our budget, we were looking at the needs
Okay.
versus more like a want. I know that we need, in desperate, we need buildings all over. However, we need to make an assessment as to, do we cut it now, put it for the next couple of years?
The reason I'm asking, because, you know, those are the first responders, which is them, chief, and the main thing, sanitation department.
Right.
Okay. That's fine, let's go. All right.
As far as the cutting on those certain budgets, did we consult with the department heads? That's something I want to ask before we did those cuts, because did we make sure that we cut the certain things that maybe shouldn't have been cut, or do we consult with
First
them?
cut, we do consult with the department heads, pretty much
Right.
everybody. The others, the ones that we're cutting, is pretty much like overtime, supplies, travel and training. Those are the ones that we cut to balance. it.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Not equipment-wise or anything
No.
like that? Okay, got it.
Now, the supplies that you were talking about that were cut, are those supplies that you can get through grants? Do you know, Chief, or how would?
This is not necessarily supplies that we get through grants. This is more like paper supplies, pen, pencils.
okay.
And this is just
Oh,
a
okay.
topic that
That's
is called
gonna be the
supplies.
next question.
office supplies.
Okay.
Yeah, because, I got you. Okay, go ahead. I don't have any other questions.
Now, it does reflect here the additional staffing with the grant, yes?
Oh, it's under grants.
Okay. So that's another plus here with the fire department that we got that grant.
400 and,
70s,
433, right? And that was the latest grant that was, on the next meeting? Oh, good.
Now, once it gets approved, then we'll do a budget amendment to it as an additional revenue coming in. We can't do it yet because we don't have it. And it came after the fact though. But once we get that, then it'll be reflected. sigue. And then the next one in line, we're looking at the solid waste department. If you look at page 79 or 80, right after 79. Uh, 79, the page right after 79, doesn't have a page number. But that's your revenues and expenditures of that particular account. You there? If you look at it, the total revenues on that particular solid waste account, enterprise account, is at $3,068,000 versus $2,890,943 from last year to this year. So there's a little bit of an increase there. And if you look at the expenditures, it's pretty much even, revenues and expenditures. Aquí es donde quedamos el truck. Sweeper. Okay. No questions, then if we can go to the park development, just real quick. That'll be page 91. Or 90? Right before 91. So we have the total revenues and total expenditures. Between 5,000. On the park development, we're estimating that we're going to be collecting $30,000 worth. On the revenues and under expenditures, we're looking at allocating $25,000. It doesn't mean that we're going to be spending the $25,000, but that's just an estimated amount. Now, we have an additional $5,000. They're there just for that particular purpose. Now, we're looking into going into the municipal park, doing some enhancements, and this is where some of these monies are going to be coming from. Under total revenues for grants, if there's any other questions, this is page 97 or right before the 98.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Going back to the parks, what kind of enhancements are you planning to do?
We're looking into doing some improvements to the baseball field parks, also fencing around the perimeter, and also maybe some backstops or some curtains that Patrick is working on. Patrick, are you aware of that? On the municipal park enhancements that they're working on? No? So,
We're talking about this one.
yes, the net,
No, but he's saying fencing around the whole park.
right, as well.
Yeah.
Those are proposals that we're getting.
And do you have any amounts?
No, I don't have
You
any
don't
amounts
have that
yet.
information? Okay.
Fajardo was working on some of the proposals.
Yes. Now,
Thing is, no. I
right,
mean,
there's canopies, barbecue pits, and enhancements throughout the park. Now, this is only what we're estimating for this fiscal year. Now, we do have some additional funding that it's at 116,000 that what we currently have on that budget. But now that we're going to be, yes, the whole intent on that park was to participate with the school district, the PSJ, having some softball games there. So this is going to invite the opportunity to not only us ourselves doing the enhancements, but also some of the improvements through the PSJ school district.
Yeah,
helping us out.
and that's, just for the record, we're going to meet with Dr. King in reference to that this Friday.
Yes.
And we're going to speak about the interlocal and see how the school district can contribute to that. So I'm hoping that we can spend not as much, you know what I'm saying? Save as much as we can with the interlocal, so. Because they're looking at having junior high baseball games there. So now that the district implements junior high baseball and softball, so they'll be able to utilize those fields. So we're trying to upgrade them and, you know, to basically for the kids to go out there and play ball. So that's what I'm going to speak with them this coming Friday, have a meeting with them. So there's a lot of good things coming. So we're going to try to do our best so where we don't have to pay out of, you know, our pocket, you know, on this enhancing of the fields.
Another thing that we've been talking back and forth with the Parks and Recreation Department with Patrick and Mr. Ruben is that maybe starting an adult league in the evenings, and that will generate additional funding here, additional revenues. So this is more an estimated based on last year, so we're hoping that it'll be more than what we're actually having here in paper. We're very conservative on this. What's the next one? The grants is the page 98, 97, between 97 and 98. Right after 97. Miscellaneous grants. ¿Cuál es fire suppression? But is that their grant?
Yeah.
We're there? It's on the one before, Mayor. 97, one before. Es que no tiene page number. It's a blank, that one. This is for the miscellaneous grants that we currently have here within the, on this year. We're looking at 436,000. And then, of course, obviously, we need to do the same on the expenditures. And if you look at the fire suppression, well, first is the police department where they're actually getting, on the average, 235,000 on those grants. And the other one that we just got is at 174. So it's for 3 years, and that's why you see 174, not the 400 and some. Okay. Any questions on that one? And the other one, under stormwater, this would be at page 115, 116 in between. Okay. Do we have the updated sheet on that one? Yes. This is the updated one on that one. There was a typo.
Okay. 287. Right.
Well, this is the stormwater fees that we currently collect on a yearly basis based on this past year, and we don't have any history on it because of the fact that it was in the general fund. And that's why we moved it over to the enterprise account. And we're looking at about 287,000 worth of revenues and 287,000 worth of expenditures. Now, this is with an additional staff, four staff, so that they can help us out not only on the storm and water, but also clean the alleys, sidewalks, pretty much everything that has to do with this. So with this particular account this way, it allows us to hire additional staff, and this is what this is for that equipment. One of the things that we were looking into purchasing this year through this account was another sweeper, an additional sweeper. However, because of the cost on it, 211,000, 220 some odd thousand, we're looking, instead of buying it outright like this, just paying it cash, maybe we can do a lease for 5 years, 5 years, and it'll be on a payment plan. Where the first payment will not be taking place this year, it'll be the following year. Yes.
Been out there?
Yes. Mr. Salinas? It'll be able to pick it up. I don't know, you saw that here by Nebraska, we had a couple of guys working on the, by the curb, all that weed that was coming out. So that'll allow us to get additional staff, not only to concentrate in this area, but other areas as well. Yes.
Would it be easier to run the machine like in the, let's say from 11 at night to like 7 in the morning? Because since it's less traffic, I'm assuming you. Yeah, because of cars that,
Are
yeah,
parked.
yeah. But I'm saying like on the main drag, like Raul
We
Longoria,
could.
Nebraska. Exactly. Correct. And you know, I mean, the whole concept on that is for less traffic, better, you know. It makes it a lot easier for the guys.
Right now, we're working on the second driver that we just hired, so we're training him on that. Then we have one driver training right now, and we're about to lose that one. We haven't. He's about, we haven't trained him in 2 months from trucks.
Going somewhere else?
Yeah, unfortunately, we're losing a lot of drivers to the county.
More money.
We just lost a heavy equipment operator that went to the county to work at the parks department. They can get big money, paying grass, and then they keep driving everywhere. He was a decent operator, big decent operator. So we just hired a gentleman, Mr. Salinas, no issue. But he has all certification, we're training him for the business. And for the trucks out.
Mayor, as far as entertaining that situation, as far as getting the unit in particular to doing commercial area on certain, like from 10 to 7, and I'm gonna tell you why, I work patrol for many years, and usually your commercial trucks start running at about 4 in the morning, 3:30, 4 in the morning. So I think from 6 to 8 is kind of where the heavy traffic is really at. Now, if you're gonna put them in that commercial area at the beginning, you're already getting hit with heavy traffic. Like fire chief, and I'm pretty sure the chief can attest to that. We have some areas that are very commercially inclined here locally. And I think that when you do put a sweeper around those hours that you specified, I think it does become a concern. Reason being is that a lot of traffic moves. Whenever you have a chance, you'll see Buttercrust, your Budweisers, your tortillas trucks and HEBs and all that run at that hour, and then right after that, you started having the school traffic and then the other people that are commuting back and forth. And throughout the years of experience, that's what I've experienced in that avenue. So it'd be nice if you can at least entertain that option to have a night crew in the commercial area. Right. Mhm. Right. Right. Perfect. Good. Right. Takes care of commercial, residential, right. Right, good. Good.
Page 119, or between 119 and 120, which is the utility fund, the recap on that. Between 120 and 119, 120. So this year, the total estimated revenues were at 5,487,300 versus last year, shy about maybe 50,000. And that's pretty much the, well, this one didn't nickel. The total expenditure we're under.
A zero. This is the, what we transfer over.
Oh, yeah, this is a transfer. So, yeah, it's pretty much balanced.
Pay debt.
So the total expenditures at 4,446,785. But then we have the transfer that we do, the bond monies, so that we can pay the debt, and that'll even it out at the end, at zero. One of the things that we're doing this year that we didn't do last year was that we're looking at bid proposals for uniforms. The way we have it now is that every department is pretty much on their own as far as uniform goes. So we're gonna uniform, pretty much standardize everybody so that it's one payment. I don't know what, at this point, we have no idea what utility is paying, sanitation is paying, because everybody's on their own. So we're gonna go out for bids for uniforms, and then we're gonna pretty much standardize everybody. Another thing that we did was on the safety boots. We upped it $25 more from last year to this year. So instead of 75, it'll be at 100. And that's pretty much across the board, everybody.
That's whatever we, that way everybody look the same.
Right. And these are all steel-toe boots? Yes.
Yeah, they're required, right?
They're required by steel toe.
I did notice also, I was looking at the meter readers, we only have two for the entire city.
How many?
Meter readers?
Meter readers?
2 meter readers and the crew reader is 3.
Three. So the crew reader also reads meters?
Yes.
Okay. So I was looking at like 2 meter meters for the whole city, I was like, wow, how many residents? So you divide it by, okay.
Now we're currently working on that study. And part of the study is going to be that we may have enough to do those smart meters. Right. Right.
So how many days does it take for those three water meter readers to do the whole city?
full responsibility of the resident, but to pick up a reading, well, they do.
Be modest, actually repair meters to replace meters as well. Besides just reading them, they're actually in charge of replacing meters and repairing meters, and they do repair minor leaks around the meters. We'll help them when it's the utility department helping them with the deep dig out, so we have to dig them out. But the majority of the time is they spend reading. And then like the last week and a half of the month, they'll do customer service inspections as well.
We do the connects once a month.
Have you had any complaints where you switch out the meters and
Once a month, no.
their bill increases? Huh?
Yeah, we have.
Like when they switch out their meters, right, they're saying, hey, well, I think I'm paying too much, this meter's not, working properly. Well, you guys go in and switch it out.
Everybody's assumption is that once you get a new meter, you're supposed to get a more accurate reading, which is going to be less, but it's the opposite.
It gives you 100%.
Hey, I was gonna say, right? What if you increase the pressure of the water?
It can speed up, yes, but they're designed to work at a 45 PSI, on average. They can go up to about 96 and still be inaccurate to about 98%. They're only guaranteed to 99.9%. They're guaranteed you that. But the accuracy drops pretty much as they go up, especially down here, where we have water, so there's a lot of calcium deposits.
Yeah, yeah.
So it starts slowing down. But a lot of people think that the meter should be reading that, so when they put the new one in, it actually, I don't know if you all advise them, but I know that we used to advise them whenever I was over there, we used to tell them, I said, we're gonna test it, we'll replace it, but you need to understand that
Your bill
Odds are your bill is gonna get
increase.
higher.
Yeah.
We do tell our customers that. If we would change the meter stuff, it's gonna be 100% accurate.
Okay, is that before you change it, or?
Before we change it.
Oh, okay.
Before you change it.
Before we change it.
Just let them know, because they come more complaining.
No, I know, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
No, but that's a low now.
Possibility of margin of fluctuate, right? Got it. Okay.
And then before you, you have a copy that I passed out to everybody. And this is for the new personnel request. This is just a summary. It's that one. Yeah, it's on the back, it's behind it. So you'll find the new personnel request for every single department, and also the reclassifications that are taking place, and as well as the promotions, capital outlay for every single department. Summarize, whatever is here, it's right here, short, not there. No.
Surcharge, anything like that.
And-
What?
If I can answer that, Commissioner,
Yeah, please answer.
it's not that we're
What was the question, I'm sorry?
if we're having our staff to reapply for other
Yeah.
positions, or are we switching them from position to positions? The thing was that previously, the previous administrator, the previous director, let's say, for instance, I'll give you an example with a labor position. Let's say that this person was making $10 an hour, just to give you a figure.
Okay.
And then we have a heavy equipment operator making $15 an hour. So what they were doing, and jump in at any time, Mr. Salinas, $10 an hour for the labor position, $15 an hour for the heavy equipment operator. However, some people that were heavy equipment operators were working labor positions on the weed eater, right?
Let's say, example, weed eater.
Right. So
Okay.
they were making $15 an hour doing labor work. So when David came along, he did an assessment of the whole department, as what we talked about. You know, you need to come over and do an assessment as to who's supposed to be where, what divisions, stuff like that. Now, the person that is making $15 an hour as a labor, we told them, hey, you cannot be doing this type of work because you're getting paid as a heavy equipment operator. So you need to get in the truck and start driving. Of course, obviously, they're gonna start complaining because I don't wanna be driving because I've always done this before. So now the other option is, if you like, you can apply for that position and it'll be a voluntary demotion from 15 that is currently getting paid to the 10:30 that they're supposed to be getting paid.
Yeah, I mean, that's understandable.
And that's pretty much the argument
So
that we're
that's what
currently
it was.
having.
Okay. And it's true, because I know that, you know, you had some guys that were in the weed eater, or guys that were in a different department, and they were getting paid as heavy equipment when they weren't. And it's understandable on that.
One of the employees did say that he has spoken to the previous director, and the person helped him out by doing labor work. They could not afford a raise, but we're gonna do this for you. But that's totally against our, you know. So we're just placing the employees where they're supposed to be at. Yes, sir.
At any time,
So how did that move happen? Like she just,
It's like two departments.
Okay, the other thing is. Yeah, I have a question in regards to the, I know you're asking here for a health inspector, right?
Yes.
One, okay. Under the planning and zoning. Now, how many, man, what's that, what am I looking for? The, individuals that go inside, what, I forgot the.
Code enforcement?
Yes,
Code enforcement.
we got two, right?
We're adding another one
Okay,
under sanitation. That'll be helping out, yes, sir, that'll be 3. That'll be
okay,
helping us out with the brush. Whenever they're supposed, they're out of sequence.
so it's just, they're only gonna concentrate in brush.
Primary is brush, but if they need assistance in the other department, he'll also be licensed for that, to assist in that. In case, say for instance, they go on vacation or something, we'll have him there. But the primary job is for him to address the solid waste issue, the polluted brush, the brush placed in the wrong location, the issue with garbage cans being placed in city right of way. And I'm talking about the commercial garbage cans. The ordinance prohibits commercial garbage cans to be in city right of way. They also must have a 3-wall system, and the covers on all the trash cans have to be closed. If they exceed that closing, they need to either request additional service and pay for additional pickups, or request additional cans or a larger container to address that. Because it's a health code violation to have solid waste flying all over the place, which if you drive down Kansas or Nebraska, you'll see some of the containers in the businesses there that have the overflowing trash out of the can. Those are issues that you'll be addressing by going there and doing the notice and driving the pretty ordinance to be dealt with. It's not the city will regard it and send it to a bill that actually is to pay is not going to follow. This is all ordinance that reason form. There's some amendments that are proposing in this year to change the ordinance. Because there's some issues with the containers, and one of them under one container.
Now, as far as, I know you mentioned about going over there and kind of, I guess, citing the citizens. Now, as far as educating the citizens, you know, I know I've been hearing this in the past, that yes, they've been being notified about throwing the brush. Now, is all that true?
Mayor, if I'll answer that. Now that we have these media people, that is one of the talks that we've been talking to them about, send something out so that the people can get educated on that. If you do this, there's going to be consequences. But we're going to do a citywide type of a marketing plan so that we can go out to the community, to every single resident, whether it's a mail out, whether it's on the webpage, whether it's on the Snap or whatever.
Attach it to their water bill or something like that? Because, I mean, how can we be citing citizens if they don't have a clue when they're supposed to throw out their brush? You know?
One of the things that we did this year, we did make sure that we had enough money for the unfortunately, not everybody in the city gets a bill from the city.
exactly.
There's over 9,000
Counts?
Everybody says
counts for
TV.
solid waste.
Mhm.
Only 6,300 counts for water. So those are the ones that get the water bill. The other ones get it from North Alamo. So North Alamo charges an additional fee for all that, for every single count to set them up. The setup fee is like $5 per count set.
Mhm.
They can do it. Then it's $2.52 for them to do it. All right, so, it's cheaper for us just to do mass mail out to everybody.
Exactly.
And that's what we have. in our
Good.
budget Next year, so we can send out notice to both in English and Spanish. And then, of course, follow up with the media campaign that the city manager was talking about. Tweaking the website, so you have more information on the website, and direct links to the ordinance. The other one thing that we're working on is posting up pictures of brush, how the brush is supposed to be. The ordinance requires that it be cut in no longer than 3 foot sections. They don't do that. It also requires that not be sitting on public infrastructure like storm drains. We just have to clean up the subdivision right before the drain because it's piled on the storm drain. We have the north side of town that they put it all in the bar ditches. So we have to go clean all those up. We have to move people out of the cycle to go clean those areas to try to mitigate the flooding. So those are the kind of things that we're gonna show and add it to the website so people can see it, and they're posted around City Hall, so you're gonna see what the proper way to do stuff and not the way to do it. Because one of the things that pollute the brush, and once polluted brush is there, I can't recycle it. But if it's clean, I can recycle it. There's a different location over at the landfill that I can take the brush to. And makes it easier for us to go in and return, because then they take it and mulch it and use it for ground cover at the landfill, which you get more credit than regular dirt. But if it's got 2x4s in it, or sheetrock, or pieces of engine, or whatever in it, it's polluted. So in the ordinance actually says that we're not gonna pick it up. We've still been picking it up, just because we don't want it there. But that's one of the things that we're gonna start educating people on, and send the fires out.
I also think that maybe you guys can implement once a month, putting out roll-offs, maybe 2 on the south, 2 on the north, where the citizens can go and dump, their brush or any type of debris, I think that'd be a big help. Not only that, I've gotten so many calls in reference to, maybe looking and opening the site on Saturdays. Maybe, I don't know, you guys decide with 2 Saturdays a month, 1 Saturday, really, it's just, because a lot of times, citizens work till 5 and they're closed, and I think we can eliminate that issue. It's not gonna be completely, but if something small,
I know we're not trying to do that, then to leave an empty container out in the field, because, without having somebody to control it there, we're gonna end up with hazardous waste in there.
Yeah.
We're gonna end up with batteries, we're gonna end up with paint, we're gonna end up with oil, we're gonna end up with all this stuff that
And
we're gonna have to pay,
Yeah,
hazardous waste fees to dispose of, and those can get really.
yeah, and not only that, David, yeah, you have to try to find something how can we control it, but just remember that we're gonna do it for our citizens, we understand that. But we need to watch it with companies that do construction.
One of the things, I don't know if you were interested in the Clean Sweep program that you just funded, the municipal, I know the city of Orange, and they're rolling down, and see what's going to be one, that's they're about to do. But what they do is they target a sector of town, and they go to the area where you drop off and you get volunteers, like the San Juan Municipal Committee, or the science stuff from.
actually,
Do a cleanup and target maybe on a monthly basis, or on a 4-year basis, to target those areas.
you got some kids from the high school who are willing to help out.
And I have already been approached on that, Mayor.
You have? Okay.
Especially that national society, they need hours for
Yeah,
the school.
so,
And that's something that we're trying to coordinate with David's staff, about maybe like you're saying, every other weekend, one weekend out of the month, but coordinated with the school district, so it'll be like a citywide cleanup, maybe on that particular quadrant, through the Keep San Juan Beautiful Board, our staff, and also the volunteers from the school district. Yeah.
now, are your grapplers, are they running right now?
Right now they are, we just got the second one running, one of the intake, the exhaust vent was
good.
Third one. We also have another brush truck as well.
Okay.
We were asking for additional garbage truck, but we get most complaints on the brush side, so we decided to concentrate on the brush.
I don't know, I mean, you may agree with me right now, but as far as, we're backed up on the brush, right?
Yes, sir. Right now, the additional rate that we have, we're probably about a month and a half.
So how are we handling that right now?
And
What's your plan?
let's continue with the areas that we're behind and finishing. Because one of the things that we're doing is they were piecemealing. They would send a truck here and send another one to kind of show people that they started in that area, but the problem is that this one was finished. So one of the things that I told Mr. Soto is we gotta finish the area before we get out of there, because, they got two crews. They got the ad crews, and they have the street crews. So what they're doing is they were sending the street crews to pick up everything, and then they were saying we were done, but they really weren't done because the alley still had nothing in those areas. Those are the people that are gone. So it's just not, if we continue to concentrate those things, then we'll finish the other one, and eventually we'll catch up. We're having to back up and go to those areas because people are telling, hey, we didn't pick up the brush in the house. But we had already spent a lot of resources in there that week before, and then they moved over. So right now, they're concentrating on the northwest side, that's where they're at. They should finish it.
And they came part of pulling these people out, like,
Yeah.
and I had originally told Mr. Juan, I said, they're gonna fall behind, I said, but please, we did this.
No, and that is priority, chief. But that's not a problem.
Then we had another
But-
subdivision that had it was full of brush, we had to go pick it up
You know,
out of schedule.
I know it's not your fault, it's no one's fault, you know, I mean, things happen, but it looks pretty bad, you know? And I know you guys are trying to do the best, but,
The other thing that I was talking to Mr. Juan, and I was kind of hoping we can bring it up here, but I guess I'm going to speak attorney, is that we don't charge brush fees. Every other city around us charges a brush fee. Brush costs a lot of money to do that. Right now, we've been keeping up with that fee we charge for the garbage and solid waste. But we don't have a brush fee. McAllen charges a brush fee, Allen charges a brush fee, Paul charges a brush fee, Mercedes charges a brush fee.
Ya estamos cobrando. How much are we charging? 15? For the brush or trash? 15? 13? It's like 12, 13, más o menos. So we charge an additional 5, it'll be 17.
They don't get charged that brush fee in the monthly bill, but if they want to pick a brush, they have to contract, so we can do it.
And-
That's something that we currently don't have in the ordinance, so
Right.
so we can do what we call an out-of-cycle fee. So we'll go, like for instance, say at your house, you have a big tree that falls out, we're not scheduled to be there until next month. If we want to pick it up, we can go out there, take a measurement, and give you a fee, what it's going to cost. The town charges $4.95 per minute. That's what they charge. So if the truck is out there for 10 minutes, it's $4.95 times 10, $40.95. That's what they charge. Wesco is a little bit different because of the contract, so there's bars, there's Alamo, there's different contracts, so they have a different fee schedule for those out of cycle. But that's something that when we look at, we've been getting called where people are cleaning their debris and their stuff, but we're not scheduled to be there, and they want us to go, so that takes time, and they start calling you guys.
well, that's why it goes back to educating the resident, you know, and informing them, because, I mean,
Yeah, that's what they called me this morning on it, and I advised them, I said, we were there already in August, we won't be there until October. If you want us to go pick it up, I can send the guys out there with the measurement and charging cost, you know? And he said, oh, I have to wait till October. He's playing the person never picked it up, and I'm gonna go check it out, because the guys told me they couldn't reach all the way over to where, because they put people on it. So I grabbed them.
Can the residents, go through it over there they can do it on their own? Okay.
you see, and it goes back to opening up like on
Okay,
Saturdays.
on Saturdays.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's from 8 to 12,
Yeah.
you know.
And I would much rather do that than set up containers out there.
Well, I think we should look into it, because I know I've spoken to some citizens and a lot of these individuals.
Great, man, great. That'd be a big help. I know. Okay.
Things on this, Mayor.
Go ahead, sir.
Let's go back on the publication on educating our citizens. I think we should get a little bit more involved with our citizens and do kind of PSAs. Basically, you being in front of a camera and explaining the people and do's and don'ts, the kind of an illustration. Because if you ask me, if you go back to any, and you might agree, look at y'all's Facebook, if you all see a long list of things, you don't read it. You actually see something that moves, something that's going to attract you to actually looking at the PSA or whatever. But if it's a public service announcement and written, I can guarantee you guys, you're not going to read it if it's so long. So I think a lot of times if it requires you to come out and do a PSA or their social media what is it called, Twitter or Instagram or whatever the case may be, I think we should go with that approach with publication, sending it out along with the PSAs. And that's I'm not even talking in your situation. I'm talking fire and police and any public entity, like the chief giving a PSA where it says, you know what, texting and driving in schools, at the beginning of the schools, and, you know, fire prevention is coming up, the holidays are coming up, heater stuff, you know, and those are things that we need to reach out and how is it that we're going to attract our citizens? How are we going to grab them and actually pull them into that TV set or into that mobile device saying, you know what, oh, this is important stuff. And it's already happening. I see it everywhere, but I'd like for that to be implemented here. Another thing that I guess I got that. Another thing, I know it's a constant complaint as far as the brush pickup. Maybe we should think outside the box. Maybe we should hire somebody from the outside so they can come in and clean it at one time to see when you start again, and if it falls behind something's not working, so we have to reevaluate the situation. I don't know. Those are just ideas that I have, but of course, I don't know.
David or Mr. Arjona can come on in a commercial with the news, you know, that, about the brush picked up, how we want it, or how, you know, try to advise our residents that, hey, today, this is a week for you, a brush to pick up, please don't cut the following week and throw it back again and have it there.
Now, can we put in a commercial in the school district on that channel 17? You know?
Talk to them, back to them.
You know, I don't know, something thinking outside the box of how we're going to track and how we're going to educate. Because continuous education is a key. Because people move in, out, they move, they come back. But if we give it one time and that's it and we haven't done anything, it's a constant reminder, When a police officer pulls you over for a seatbelt, it's a constant reminder. So you have to beat it till it's blue. And if it's blue, you still have to educate it. Because people move out and in and out, you know, from all kinds of walks of life. And in the countries also, you know, so those are things that I think we have to address and so be able to attract and grab our citizens.
Mayor and I have been talking about the one-time sweep, maybe do it quarterly or every, like in December and then May or June. But yes, I'm getting proposals from different waste management or. You already working on it? Yes, I reached out to a couple of guys.
And just doing a one-time
sweep.
So that way you guys start fresh. But also, you know, we had been, speaking to Mr. Arjona as well, we want to do kind of like a newsletter mail out every quarterly to the citizens and just basically informing them of what's going on in our city, police, hey, chief, you know, and the different departments. Just to kind of, like Commissioner Sanchez was saying, educating them as far as what is transpiring and all the good positive stuff that's happening here, which I think it'd be a great idea. You know, it's going to be something different now that we got this new marketing company in here. So your jobs, once we go out with these letters, your job is to kind of just give Arjona, or I don't know who's going to spearhead this, but or even them, the marketing people, just kind of little bullet points of, you know, of the accomplishments and all the positive stuff. And I share that because that's where you can put your schedule for the brush. And this is going to be English and Spanish. You guys don't have to translate it in Spanish. The company will do that, okay? So just thought of food for thought there, man. But that's what we can put on these newsletters that we do plan to go out every quarterly. So we need to start working on that as well. But
I have no other questions. I'm good. Is that pretty much
No,
it?
pretty much, it's meeting.
That's good?
Get the ball.
Okay.
Oh, Halloween's coming up. Maybe we can do a PSA to start that way, you know? How to teach our kids and our citizens about Halloween, you know? Be reflective, flashlights and all that. I don't know, Chief. Thinking outside the box.
Ladies and gentlemen, just keep up the good work. I appreciate everything you guys do for this community. I'm getting a lot of good feedback that, you know, they're seeing a difference. And believe me, I give the credit to every single one of you all, you know, because I've always said you guys are the backbone of this community. So just keep up the good work, and we're gonna do everything in our power to help you and kind of, you know, get the morale going. And we're doing good. We're doing good. And I appreciate all that hard work that you guys do. Okay? Anything else, Commissioner? Okay, so then we're item what, 3? Open it up. Go ahead and read it, man.
Yes, on the public hearing ordinances, Section A, hold the first public hearing, consider the ordinance adopting the budget for the city of San Juan, Texas, for fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2018 to September 30th, 2019.
Time, I'm gonna go ahead and open it up for public comment on this issue. Is there, at 6:57 PM, is there anyone here for or against? For or against?
Yeah, I'm going to be against this budget.
Can you state your name for the record? Thank you, sir.
Before any other year, I've been forward, I've seen the budget, but for this year, seeing that no other citizens here, and another thing that they mentioned, they couldn't find the live feed for today's meeting, special meeting. So again, I'm just relaying what they said to me. They couldn't find the meeting for today. Another thing, only 13 pages, when before we've been able to see all the budget highlights, over 100 pages before. So those are the things that I'm mentioning why I'm against it this year, because we need more details. Also, make it available for the public. The package was only 13 pages. They can't really tell where their money's going to be spent this year, since you have several highlights going from 10,000 increase up to over 100,000 increase on several of them. The sanitation fund or utility fund don't matter, but anything that's coming from the general fund does matter. So I'm pretty sure that's why the public wanted to see this. They wanted to have it been able to see it. As you see, there's no other person here. Another thing that good that they mentioned was the drug, the media. I mentioned that over a year ago, almost a year and a half ago. And that's when we got barely the app for our city. Now, why is it relevant right now? Why are you guys for it? I don't know. I've been talking about it. Seems like I'm just wasting my time every time. So again, that's good that you're bringing up again. Hopefully now that you're commissioner, maybe they'll listen to you, because I've been wasting my time apparently. Because I said it before, and even when the app came out, I relayed how information is supposed to work, because they just rushed it in, made the app, it didn't work. I used it several times, no action was taken, they didn't receive the report. So just on that point, I'm against it this year. Sorry, thank you.
Anyone else for or against? For or against? Any members of the commission have any questions regarding this ordinance? If not, I'm going to go ahead and close it at 7 p.m. Is there a motion to approve? Been second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Is there a motion to adjourn? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. This meeting has been adjourned at 7 p.m. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.